Hi, Randy Clay here. It's been a while since I've been with you for a guitar instructional video. Been working and gigging a lot, but got the weekend off, so I thought I'd take a little time to informally just throw some ideas at you for picking on the pentatonic. As you know, the word pentatonic means five, and in music, the pentatonic scale is a five-note scale. And today we'll be working in the key of A minor pentatonic. And those five notes coming out of the A scale are A, number one, and the flatted third, which would be C, fourth, which is D, fifth, which is E, the flatted seventh, which is G. So it's those five notes, A, C, D, E, G, played consecutively. So we're getting basically just a little over 2 octaves out of that scale using the present fingering, which I refer to as a vertical fingering, because we're moving vertically across the strings and back. Very easy scale to remember. The fingering is just 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4. So the only strings you're playing 1 and 4 on are the sixth, second, and first. The other strings are using the first and third fingers. Very universal scales used in a lot of different styles of music, predominantly in blues and rock, but other styles as well. We'll also be using the diagonal fingering today, which is starting with the third finger on the sixth string in third position on the A note, then going to the C with the first finger, D, sliding up to fifth position, E, first finger on G, third finger A, C, D, sliding up to seventh position, E, first finger on G, third finger A, and so on. First, third, third. So we're almost getting 3 octaves out of this particular fingering. So the diagonal has its advantages in that you have more range on the fretboard. But they're both very beneficial, and you can go easily work between the two because they intersect each other. So it's easy to go in and out of the two scales. All right, well, first I want to show you how to go about improvising with this scale, or any other scale for that matter. It's a good approach. I call it my 3 elements of improvisation. Number 1 is to vary the intervallic relationships between the notes in the scale. So get away as soon as possible from the scale sounding so linear or scalular, and skip over notes. Use different note patterns or arrangements of tones from the scale. And number 2, use a variety of different rhythms at random while executing your notes. Don't get stuck on one set of rhythms, like playing all eighth notes. Mix it up. Throw quarter notes, dotted eighths, sixteenths, tied rhythms, you name it. Try different ideas. Use it rhythmically with your scales. And 3, and probably most important, is embellishing your scales using different techniques, decorating your scales, using certain techniques like hammer-ons and pull-offs. On the third string there, I just went from a C to a D, hammering on, or maybe even from D back to C, pulling off, or a combination of the two, hammer on, pull off. You could just do this on any number of your strings. Another way to embellish would be to use note bends. In this particular case, I'm going to start on a D note here out of the pentatonic scale and bend it a whole step. In other words, to sound like the note 2 frets up from it. So we're bending the D note to sound like the E note, which is the next note up in the scale. You can also do this on the second string on the G note, bending it to sound like the A note. In these cases, you probably would replace your fourth finger with your third finger, since you have more strength there and are able to bend the note further with your third finger. So we're bending the G to the A. And also on the first string, you can bend the C to a D a full step. See, that would make a a good little exercise right there. Bending from D to C, D, C, A, G, E, D, C, excuse me, E, D, C, A. Other techniques as well. Slides, sliding up to a note or even down to a note. Trills, combination of hammer-ons and pull-offs consecutively. Any number of techniques in ways to embellish your scale. All right, now let me give you some cliche licks using some of these techniques. First of all, the A minor pentatonic will work over, obviously, an A minor chord since it's in the key of A minor. And having the flatted third note in there, the C, makes it work over the minor quite well. Also, it works over 7th chord, so you can use it over an A7 because it has the flatted 7th G in there, which is one of your blues tones. As a matter of fact, the 7th, flatted 7th, and the flatted 3rd are referred to as blues tones, and they work quite well in blues and when you're using like a 1-4-5 chord progression as well. Like A7, D9, E9 to A7. So it worked really well over there, which is very bluesy. All right, so now I'm going to attempt to show you a few little cliche licks or ideas. First, let's vary the interval relationships in this scale. We'll start with a high C, and we'll descend 3 notes in the scale, a 3-note pattern. So it'd be C, A, G. At that point, go back up a note to A and descend 3 notes, A, G, E. Back up a note, G, E, D. So basically, it's a 3-note pattern, descending just like that. A, G, E, G, E, D, E, D, C, D, C, A. Each time you do it, try to get a little faster. Each time, take it up a notch until you can execute that scale at will. And you could use, there's no law that says you have to use the entire scale. You could use portions of that scale, maybe make an ending out of it. Or throw a hammer on and a pull off at the end. Even a note bend. Another good pattern would be to use a 2-note pattern. Say you're starting with your first finger on an A and go down 2 notes in the scale to an E. So you're skipping a string, going to E, then going back up a note to G, skipping a note, down to D, up to the E, skipping a note, down to the C. Continue to descend in that pattern. Now this particular arrangement of tones requires that you use a technique that I call a rollover. That's where you roll the tip of your finger or the first joint of your finger from one string to the adjacent string above it. 1 1 3 3 1 1 3 3 1 1 3 4 1. And here again, get faster each time you do it. All these rhythms that we're doing so far will work quite well over shuffle rhythms because you have that triplet element in there and a shuffle which uses that triplet feel. So these scales work great over that. All right, now proceeding on to a few licks that we can use out of the diagonal pentatonic scale. Slides would work really well in this scale, particularly right here going from the D note to the E note, where you change positions. So in each case, go from your third finger and slide it up a whole step there from the D to the E. G, A, C, D, another slide there to 7th position. And then right here, another slide up to 10th position. Also at those same places in the diagonal scale would be also a good place to use note bends. For instance, on the D, you could bend that a whole step to sound like the E. In that case, the third finger is bending that D note a whole step up to sound like the E. Also on the third string, bending the D up a full step to sound like the E. And on the first string. Also, using the rollover technique in a 2-note pattern, you could start up at 8th position with the first finger up on the C note, going to a G, A, E, G, D, that sort of thing. 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1. Position change there. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3. Makes a great lick as well. So I hope you gained something from a few of these ideas I threw at you today, and hope you have plenty fun picking on the pentatonic scales. Until next time, I'm Randy Clay. See ya.